Take a nostalgic trip back to the charming town of Maybury with The Andy Griffith Show, 1960, as we explore its beloved cast, then and now. From the wise and kind Sheriff Andy Taylor to the lovable goofball Gomer Pyle, these actors brought warmth, humor, and heart to television like no other. Decades later, fans are still curious. What became of the stars who made Mayberry feel like home? Discover the surprising stories, career highlights, and life journeys of these iconic actors from their early days on the show to where they are today. Whether they continued acting, retired in peace, or left us too soon, their legacy continues to enchant generations of viewers. Hal Smith portrayed Otis Campbell in The Andy Griffith Show, 1960, when he was 44 years old. Known affectionately as the town drunk, Otis was a lovable and comic character who frequently locked himself in the Mayberry jail to sober up, much to the amusement of Sheriff Andy and Deputy Barney. Despite his alcohol-fueled antics, Otis was never mean-spirited, and his interactions often highlighted the forgiving, good-natured spirit of Mayberry. The character gave the show some of its most memorable comedic moments, always balancing humor with humanity. Outside of Mayberry, Hal Smith was a remarkably versatile performer, lending his talents to radio, television, and especially voice acting. He became one of the most prolific voice actors of his era, bringing to life countless characters in Hanna-Barbera cartoons, and later voicing Winnie the Pooh's owl in Disney productions. His distinctive voice became part of many childhoods, even for those who never knew him as Otis. Born on August 24, 1916, Hal Smith worked steadily for decades, beloved for both his comedic timing and vocal range. He passed away on January 28, 1994 at the age of 77 from a heart attack, leaving behind an enduring legacy in both live action and animation. Frances Bavier portrayed Aunt Bee Taylor in The Andy Griffith Show, 1960, at the age of 57. Aunt Bee is Andy Taylor's devoted aunt, who steps in to help raise Opie after the death of his mother. She is the heart of the household, bringing both nurturing love and gentle comedic stubbornness to everyday life in Mayberry. Aunt Bee represents traditional family values, offering a mix of warmth, old-fashioned homemaking, and occasional exasperation at modern ways. Her presence added depth to the show's themes of family and community, making her one of television's most cherished maternal figures. Frances Bavier herself was a highly trained actress, appearing in theater, film, and television from the 1930s onward, though she became most famous as Aunt Bee. Off-screen, she was private and preferred solitude, retiring to Siler City, North Carolina, where she lived quietly for many years. She passed away on December 6, 1989, just days before her 87th birthday at the age of 86. The causes of death included congestive heart failure, myocardial infarction, coronary artery disease, and breast cancer. Though her life ended in quiet solitude, she is forever remembered as the gentle yet strong Aunt Bee, who embodied the warmth and heart of Mayberry. Burt Mustin portrayed Judd Fletcher in The Andy Griffith Show, 1960, when he was already 76 years old. Judd was one of Mayberry's quirky townsfolk, often delivering humorous one-liners or sharing small-town wisdom in his distinctive, gravelly voice. Though usually seen on the sidelines, Judd's colorful personality helped round out the ensemble of Mayberry's community, making him a fan favorite despite limited screen time. Burt Mustin himself was a remarkable story. He did not begin acting until the age of 67, yet quickly became one of television's most recognizable elderly character actors. He appeared in dozens of shows including Leave It to Beaver, All in the Family, The Twilight Zone, and Dragnet. His trademark charm and comedic timing allowed him to work steadily for nearly 2 decades, often portraying kindly old men, eccentric neighbors, or comic background figures. Born on February 8, 1884, Mustin's late-blooming career became a Hollywood inspiration, proving that age was no barrier to success. He passed away on January 28, 1977, at the age of 92, from natural causes, leaving behind a legacy as one of television's most beloved supporting actors. Andy Griffith portrayed Sheriff Andy Taylor in The Andy Griffith Show, 1960, when he was 34 years old. Sheriff Taylor is the moral center of Mayberry, a small southern town where problems are often solved with patience, kindness, and homespun wisdom, rather than force. As both a single father to young Opie and the local sheriff, Andy embodies integrity, humor, and balance, guiding his son and his community through life's challenges with compassion and understanding. His steady presence offered audiences a vision of decency and warmth during the turbulent 1960s. Griffith's performance made Andy Taylor one of television's most respected father figures. Beyond Mayberry, Andy Griffith enjoyed a long career on stage, film, and television, later achieving renewed success as the star of Matlock from 1986 to 1995. Off-screen, he was also a talented gospel and country singer. Griffith passed away on July 3, 2012, at his coastal home in Montejo, North Carolina, at the age of 86. The cause was a heart attack, and his death marked the loss of a beloved icon who left behind more than 5 decades of unforgettable storytelling. Don Knotts portrayed Barney Fife in The Andy Griffith Show, 1960, when he was 36 years old. Barney is Mayberry's bumbling but well-meaning deputy sheriff, fiercely loyal to his cousin Andy Taylor, yet hilariously inept at handling authority. Armed with a single bullet he's rarely trusted to use, Barney's overconfidence and nervous energy made him one of television's most iconic comedic characters. His exaggerated expressions, slapstick timing, and lovable flaws earned Knotts 5 Emmy Awards during his run on the series. Beyond Mayberry, Don Knotts starred in family comedies such as The Incredible Mr. Limpet, 1964, and The Ghost and Mr. Chicken, 1966, later joining Three's Company in the 1970s. His career spanned decades, showcasing his unique ability to play nervous yet endearing oddballs. In real life, Knotts struggled quietly with health issues but remained dedicated to his craft. He passed away on February 24, 2006, at the age of 81, from complications of lung cancer, leaving behind a comedic legacy that continues to influence generations. Jack Dodson portrayed Howard Sprague in The Andy Griffith Show, 1966, when he was 35 years old. As Mayberry's shy and soft-spoken county clerk, Howard was a character defined by his social awkwardness and quiet yearning for acceptance. Though reserved and often the target of gentle humor, he embodied the humanity and vulnerability of small-town life, making him both comical and relatable to audiences. Dodson infused the role with subtle charm, ensuring that Howard's missteps, whether in dating, trying hobbies, or navigating friendships, felt authentic rather than exaggerated. The character became popular enough to transition into Mayberry RFD, where Dodson continued to expand Howard's story. Beyond Mayberry, Dodson had a long television career with roles in Barney Miller, Archie Bunker's Place, All's Fair, and guest spots on numerous dramas, establishing himself as a versatile and dependable character actor. Off-screen, he was respected by colleagues for his professionalism and quiet dedication to his craft. Born on May 16, 1931, Jack Dodson enjoyed a fruitful career before his life was cut short. He passed away from heart failure on September 16, 1994, at the age of 63, remembered warmly by fans as the man who gave life to one of Mayberry's most enduring and sympathetic figures. Ron Howard played Opie Taylor in The Andy Griffith Show, 1960, when he was only 6 years old. Opie is the curious, tender-hearted son of Sheriff Andy Taylor, raised in the small town of Mayberry under his father's steady guidance. Throughout the series, Opie's adventures, whether it be losing a baseball, adopting pets, or struggling with moral lessons, reflect the innocence and honesty of childhood. His relationship with Andy is the emotional anchor of the show, showing a rare blend of humor, love, and gentle discipline. Ron Howard's natural charm made Opie one of the most memorable child characters in television history. Unlike many child stars, Howard successfully transitioned into one of Hollywood's most acclaimed directors, building a career defined by critically praised and commercially successful films such as Apollo 13, 1995, A Beautiful Mind, 2001, which won the Academy Award for Best Director, and Rush, 2013. Born on March 1, 1954, Howard continues his career in 2025 at the age of 71. Admired not only for his work behind the camera, but also for the enduring innocence he brought to Mayberry as young Opie. Hope Summers portrayed Clara Edwards in The Andy Griffith Show, 1961, when she was 59 years old. As a key member of the Mayberry Ladies' Aid and one of Aunt Bee's closest friends, Clara embodied the gossip, charm, and stubborn pride of small-town women. Frequently appearing in church scenes, community gatherings, or domestic visits, Clara was sometimes fussy and opinionated, but always delivered with humor and warmth. Her presence gave authenticity to Mayberry's social fabric, representing the ladies who kept tradition alive in a changing world. Summers herself had an extensive acting career, appearing in dozens of television series and films, with her gentle yet distinctive presence making her a sought-after character actress. She is also remembered for her role as the voice of Mrs. Butterworth in the famous syrup commercials, a role that showcased her soothing, motherly tone. Born on June 7, 1902, Hope Summers became a reliable television fixture in the 1950s and 60s, endearing herself to audiences with her natural performances. She passed away on June 22, 1979, at the age of 77, from congestive heart failure, remembered fondly as one of the women who helped make Mayberry feel real. George Lindsay joined The Andy Griffith Show in 1964, playing the lovable Goober Pyle at age 35. Goober, cousin to Gomer Pyle, became Mayberry's goofy but warm-hearted mechanic. Known for his trademark beanie cap and wide grin, Goober often provided comic relief with his awkward antics, childlike innocence, and quirky mannerisms. Though sometimes portrayed as dim-witted, Goober was always sincere, making him a fan favorite. George Lindsay continued the role in Mayberry RFD, and later on Hee Haw, where his humor reached a broader rural audience. Off-screen, Lindsay was also known for his charity work, particularly his annual golf tournament benefiting special needs children. Born on December 17, 1928, Lindsay enjoyed a long acting career that extended well beyond Mayberry. He passed away on May 6, 2012, at the age of 83 from heart failure. His legacy endures as Goober Pyle, a character who embodied small-town humor and heartfelt simplicity. Joseph Hamilton portrayed Chester Jones in The Andy Griffith Show, 1961, when he was 75 years old. Chester was one of Mayberry's ordinary townsmen, providing background authenticity to the small-town setting that the show depicted so lovingly. Though a minor character, he helped establish the sense of a real, lived-in community, and his presence in crowd scenes, church gatherings, and town events contributed to the series' overall realism. Hamilton's career included supporting roles in both television and film during the 1950s and early 1960s, and his work in Mayberry was among the last of his screen appearances. Audiences may have recognized his familiar face, even if his name was not widely known, a testament to the importance of character actors in creating the immersive world of television. Born on April 30, 1886, Joseph Hamilton passed away later that year on December 22, 1961, at the age of 75, leaving a quiet but enduring legacy as a contributor to one of television's most beloved small towns. Howard McNear portrayed Floyd Lawson, the genial barber of Mayberry, beginning in 1961 at the age of 56. Floyd is one of the town's most colorful residents, always ready to offer gossip, advice, or lighthearted banter from his barber chair. Though comically absent-minded at times, Floyd represents Mayberry's sense of neighborly community, where even a haircut came with friendship and laughter. McNear's gentle comic timing and warm presence helped make Floyd a beloved character. Sadly, during the show's run, McNear suffered a debilitating stroke in 1963, which left him partially paralyzed. With great effort, the producers adapted his scenes so he could remain part of the series, often showing him seated in the barbershop. His perseverance gave Floyd's character an even more cherished place in fans' hearts. Howard McNear passed away on January 3, 1969, at the age of 63, due to complications from pneumonia following another stroke. Though his career was cut short, his portrayal of Floyd Lawson remains an enduring piece of Mayberry's charm. Joseph Crean portrayed a townsman in The Andy Griffith Show, 1961, when he was 78 years old. Although his appearances were brief and often uncredited, Crean's presence helped create the authentic atmosphere of Mayberry, populating the town with believable citizens who contributed to the show's warmth and charm. Known for his versatility and reliability, Crean had already appeared in more than 300 films and television series, often portraying judges, military officers, and political figures with a natural authority that made his performances memorable, even in minor roles. His contributions to Mayberry, though subtle, reinforced the feeling that the town was a real community where ordinary people went about their daily lives, interacting with the main characters in believable ways. Audiences of the time may not have recognized his name, but his familiar face added depth to the show's ensemble cast. Born on July 15, 1883, Joseph Crean lived a long and fruitful life in Hollywood, passing away on April 15, 1966, at the age of 82, leaving behind a legacy of professionalism, dedication, and countless character performances that spanned the silent film era to the television age. Betty Lynn portrayed Thelma Lou in The Andy Griffith Show, 1961, when she was 35 years old. As Barney Fife's devoted girlfriend, Thelma Lou was sweet, patient, and endlessly supportive, providing a softer balance to Barney's nervous energy and constant blunders. Though their relationship was often filled with comic misunderstandings, Thelma Lou's affection for Barney was genuine, and she became an essential part of his story arc. Fans loved the chemistry between Don Knotts and Betty Lynn, which made Thelma Lou one of the most cherished recurring characters in the series. Lynn's acting career extended beyond Mayberry, with film roles in Cheaper by the Dozen, 1950, June Bride, 1948, and Meet Me in Las Vegas, 1956, as well as appearances in series like Matlock and My Three Sons. Later in life, she became a fixture in Mount Airy, North Carolina, Andy Griffith's real hometown and the inspiration for Mayberry, where she regularly met fans and shared stories of her time on the show. Born on August 29, 1926, Betty Lynn lived a long and full life, remaining beloved by fans for decades. She passed away peacefully on October 16, 2021, at the age of 95 after a brief illness, remembered as the gracious heart of Mayberry who carried Thelma Lou's spirit until the end. Jack Burns portrayed Deputy Warren Ferguson in The Andy Griffith Show, 1965, when he was 32 years old. Introduced after Don Knotts' departure, Warren Ferguson was an enthusiastic but somewhat awkward deputy who, despite his energy and eagerness, never quite won the audience's affection the way Barney Fife had. Nevertheless, Burns's comedic timing and physical humor brought life to the character during his short tenure on the show, adding a new dynamic to the sheriff's office. Off-screen, Jack Burns had a remarkably diverse career as a comedian, writer, and voice actor. He gained fame as part of the comedy duo Burns and Schreiber, and later contributed as head writer for shows like Hee Haw and The Muppet Show, in addition to lending his voice to animated series including The Simpsons and Animaniacs. Born on November 15, 1933, Jack Burns passed away on January 27, 2020, at the age of 86, leaving behind a legacy of wit, creativity, and a lifetime dedicated to entertaining audiences across multiple mediums. Robert McQuain portrayed Joe Waters in The Andy Griffith Show, 1961, when he was 27 years old. Joe was one of Mayberry's less frequent townsmen, appearing occasionally in episodes where the show needed everyday citizens to populate the close-knit community. Though his role was small, his presence added to the lived-in feel of Mayberry, showing that the fictional town had depth beyond its main characters. McQuain himself led a career more modest than some of his co-stars, mostly working in minor acting roles and television appearances during the 1960s and 1970s. He never became a household name, but his contributions gave texture to the background world of one of TV's most iconic series. Outside of acting, Robert lived a quieter life away from the spotlight, with much of his career not as thoroughly documented as other cast members. Born on June 12, 1934, McQuain passed away on December 26, 1999 at the age of 65. While his acting career was limited, his association with The Andy Griffith Show ensures his name remains part of classic television history. Annetta Corsaw portrayed Helen Crump in The Andy Griffith Show, 1963, when she was 30 years old. Introduced as Opie's new teacher, Helen was intelligent, principled, and independent, offering both compassion and firmness to her students, and eventually becoming a central figure in Andy Taylor's personal life. Her character balanced the traditional warmth expected in Mayberry with a progressive edge, representing a woman who was career-driven yet deeply empathetic. Over time, Helen's relationship with Andy became one of the heartwarming focal points of the later seasons, adding layers of romance and emotional growth to the series. Corsaw herself had begun her acting career in films, including her role in the classic sci-fi horror The Blob, 1958, before transitioning into a steady career in television. She went on to appear in shows such as Emergency, House Calls, and even reprised her role in various Mayberry spin-offs, proving her enduring connection to the character. Born on November 3, 1933, Annetta Corsaw brought elegance, strength, and authenticity to every role she played. She passed away on November 6, 1995, just 3 days after her 62nd birthday, following a battle with cancer, leaving behind a legacy of grace and talent that fans still cherish. Richard Keith portrayed Johnny Paul Jason in The Andy Griffith Show, 1962, when he was only 12 years old. Johnny Paul was one of Opie Taylor's childhood friends, frequently seen in schoolyard scenes or tagging along in adventures that captured the innocence of growing up in Mayberry. Like Opie and the other neighborhood kids, Johnny Paul embodied the show's gentle view of small-town youth. Mischievous at times, but ultimately wholesome and respectful. Richard Keith, born Keith Thibodeau on December 1, 1950, had an unusual claim to fame. He was the last surviving regular cast member of I Love Lucy, playing Little Ricky Ricardo. A talented drummer from a young age, he was cast opposite Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz before joining The Andy Griffith Show. After his childhood stardom, Keith pursued a career in music, performing with Christian rock bands and continuing his passion for drumming. Unlike many child actors, he transitioned into adult life with balance, avoiding the pitfalls of early fame. As of 2025, Richard Keith is still alive at 74 years old, remembered fondly as one of the few actors to be part of two of television's greatest classics. Eleanor Donahue portrayed Ellie Walker in The Andy Griffith Show, 1960, when she was 23 years old. Ellie was Mayberry's intelligent, independent, and charming pharmacist, and she became Andy Taylor's first significant love interest in the series. Her character brought a modern sensibility to the show, balancing the traditional warmth of the town with the fresh perspective of a professional young woman. Though she appeared for only the first season, Ellie Walker's presence added emotional depth and a touch of romance to the storyline, illustrating Andy's life outside his role as sheriff. Eleanor Donahue had already built a reputation in television as Betty Princess Anderson on Father Knows Best, and she continued to have a prolific career with appearances on shows like The Odd Couple, Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, and Days of Our Lives. Her natural charm and acting skill made her one of the most memorable young actresses of the early 1960s. Born on April 19, 1937, Eleanor Donahue is 88 years old as of 2025 and continues to be celebrated as an icon of classic television, remembered for both her early work and her enduring presence in the entertainment industry. Who is your favorite character from The Andy Griffith Show? How do you feel knowing that some cast members are no longer with us? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications to stay updated. We appreciate your support and are glad to have you as part of our community.